Welcome back to a new vid. I have to admit, I'm re-recording this because, spoiler alert, it's a tier list vid, and my face cam was covering half the tier list while I was doing it, so I just decided to scrap it. But I'm gonna take a slightly different approach to it this time around. I've already finished the tier list in that vid that y'all are never gonna see, and I'm gonna be taking y'all through why I put specific songs into specific, you feel me, tiers. And yeah, this tier list is concerning 3 albums, actually, 3 remix comps. Voyd 2.5 parts 1, 2, and 3. They've been out for like a month or so now, right? I think the last one came out. Yeah, the last one came out on like June 29th or something. Or the first one, I mean. And yeah, they kind of shook up the dubstep space. Plenty of songs that I saved that I fuck with. I think a third of my Uproar playlist is comprised of songs off of one of the 3 Voyd 2.5 compilations. But there's plenty of mid stuff as well. And yeah, I'm just going to cover every single track in this video, I guess, and try to keep it as quick and concise as possible. So let me make my face cam small as possible so y'all can actually see what I'm talking about. Now, since OBS is in the way, I unfortunately don't have the have a second screen, so I can't really. This should be good though. Yeah, since I see Beast Boy peeking out from there, I'll make it a little bigger. Yeah, I'll put myself right there. And my tier list looks like this. And I'm going to go from bottom to top, to be honest. And when I see something that I may want to switch around, I'm going to just do it, like, in hindsight. Because this isn't, like, the fixed 100% my tier list, my thoughts and feelings on all these songs. But it's accurate enough. You feel me? It's accurate enough, and like I said, I may make some minute changes, like flip things around or something, but yeah. Let's get into this. So, D tier, we have 4 tracks. At the very end is Hedix's remixes, one remix of Shallow Land Burial. Very underwhelming remix. I don't like Jump Up, and that definitely did not help Hedix's case. When I listened to this song, the first one is just so lackluster and thrown together, I feel like. The second one's fine, but I'm still not a Jump Up fan. That's the issue. Now, if Simula was to remix this song, I'd probably enjoy it. But unfortunately, he's the exception to the rule, and I'm not a fan of Jump Up, and I feel like the first drop on this remix is pretty bottom of the barrel Jump Up. Boom. Level Up's remix of Demonic Curse. I feel like the drums on this one didn't fit, were too punchy, and there was no, like, I don't want to necessarily say sidechain, but everything felt so stiff and stagnant for whatever reason. And I'm not a fan of Brittum. I actually do like that this one's kind of like classically tinged in a way, like a lot of Level Up's music is actually, but I just didn't fuck with it. I think the elements that made it up did not work so well together, and yeah, just weird drums overall that made the song feel like I don't know. I wasn't a fan. Versus remix of Dream Sequence also completely missed the mark. I feel like some of his worst sustains land on this remix, and the flows to me, Versus always been known for these offset flows, but it's just kind of too much here. And I feel like his style in 2025, I'm kind of getting tired of it. I'm going to keep it real. It's a very unique style to him, and he's obviously one of the dudes that really took advantage of the whole Rhythm Terron hybrid wave back in like 2019, but nowadays... like it just It just sounds like a malfunction in construction site or something. It's just so funny to me. Yeah, it's not good. And last but not least, we have Pike's remix of Rings of Pluto. Also weirdly mixed. Everything is so overblown and weirdly distorted, even though this is a Square 4-esque remix, and I'm just not a fan. Everything just sits in the mix so weirdly, and just, it's everything's fighting for space, it feels like. Just not enjoyable to listen to very much. Then we have the C tier, which, by the way, D tier was songs that I flat out do not enjoy. C tier is songs that possibly had potential but are mid at the end of the day. That's what I consider C tier to be. So we have Reverend and Skeletor's remix of Demonic Curse, which is has pretty bad distortion to it, and too much of it to the point where I can't hear out any characteristics of the sound design. It just sounds like raw distortion, just soulless. The redeeming factor of this song is its final handful of bars. I think the sustain and guns work well together there, and there's this weird, wacky, pitchy sustain also that I think is pretty all right. But yeah, that's why I put it at bottom of C, because I think it's a very, very generic, heavy rhythm / modern tear out song, and it barely has personality to it, if at all. Hesh's remix is up next, and I really wanted to like this one. It has a promising funk intro, but then it just evolves into another song where the drums sit super weirdly, especially that snare, and the second drum sounds so bad. Leveling off, some cool quirky sounds here and there, but it doesn't have that Hesh bite that I need Hesh's music to have, It feels very, it feels soft on impact, and that's mainly because the mixdown isn't good, and also because the sound selection wasn't that impactful. I usually expect something, grittier from Hesh, but didn't get it there. But Javelin's remix of Demonic Curse is corny as fuck. It's not funny either. The sound design is actually really good, but this whole comedy, sketch, satire approach that they take to music just doesn't work. I think if they actually took themselves seriously and tried to make a song, it'd sound really good, because the sound design is to be marveled at points in this song, but it's just something I roll my eyes to constantly. And this honestly is the remix that makes me the most mad, because it does have potential, but it's just it's played off as a joke, and for whatever reason I'm supposed to not take it seriously because it's satire. Nah, the shit's not funny, period. But I don't want to hate too hard. If they are satisfied with their song, then all is good. I just do not think it's very funny or very entertaining at all. It's more so annoying. Beast Boy's Shallow Land Burial remix is the most disappointing remix of the entire comp, I think, because he put no effort into the non-drops, no Beast Boy swag in there, just minimalism. Not for the sake of to be minimalistic or interesting, but for the sake of just being lazy, I feel like. It's just a heavy rhythm drop. Sounds like a DJ tool, to be honest. It sounds like an edit. There's nothing to this song besides maybe the distortion that I can say, oh, this sounds like Beast Boy. This is Beast Boy staple sound. It sounds like something made for live sets, like I said. And it has no Beast Boy personality or substance woven into it at all. Super underwhelming. Uber's remix, A Laughing Track, is compressed and distorted to hell. Sounds like you took a hydraulic press and crushed his sound design to the point where it just sounds like static noise. The sound design has no room to breathe, and the track is just sounds super weird because of it, actually. Sometimes I'm a fan of Uber's blown out sound. I think it worked super well on Snuff Out. Here, not so much. There's portions of sound design I can get into. Intro's fine and shit, but yeah, it definitely sounds like Uber, but Bad Uber. Yeah, I'll say that much. Infect's Rings of Pluto remix is also underwhelming because it has a weird mix down and because it's just generally an underwhelming trench song. I just want to check this one out real quick, just to get a refresher of it. Yeah, it's Infect's staple sound, but we've heard this sound selection being put to much better use. And yeah, it just doesn't have much impact because the mix down is so off. I don't know how to describe it. I think the stereo is too close or too far. It sounds like everything is pushed into the stereo field, and the stereo field has like a limit to it too. It sounds like the song is... It sounds like you're in a bubble and you're listening to the song from outside. I don't know. I can't describe it, but because of that, the track lacks impact. Kill Safari's remix is mid because it's just a rhythm drop initially, and the melody isn't very engaging either. It just sounds pretty vapid, I'd say. Yeah, it's just a basic dubstep round with the notes over it. It's not good. Now that part was super sick. They did a more hybrid trap thing, brought in the flute. That's why I ended up putting it in C, because the drop, the song gets better the more you listen to it, but when it initially hits, those growls just aren't my speed at all, because that kind of sound's been outdone. Like, it's, you feel me? That sound should be dead at this point. Fun Cases remix of Maze of Punishment, unfortunately just a case of an OG. I think trying to force his sound to work with modern tear out tropes. I think the sustains sound goofy because of the pitching, and I also do believe that the second drop does not work because I believe that Fun Case's sound inherently does not work with modern tear out tropes, if that makes sense, and it ends up sounding super off and almost generic in a way. Hold on. Yeah, this bah just it loses impact because the sustains have this weird timbre pitching. Yeah, this ends up sounding cheesy because it's more that classic squelchy Fun Case sound design being remodeled to fit this whole modern tear out slowdown YVM3 type shit, and it's like mixing oil and water in my opinion. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't sound all too good. But it's what's the word I'm looking for? You can tell he put effort into the remix and tried his best to actually make his sound fit into like modern day tropes, which I can respect to an extent, but to me it sounds off. Blank Space and Squishy and Hamro's remix, Stooges remix, and Magic Armor is, I think, just a regular... Excuse me, I don't know why I'm hiccuping and burping. But this remix just sounds like a typical heavy dubstep song. I think the tonality in the first drop is generic as hell. The drop after picks up, I'll say that much. This like stabby flow, you know it from Blank Space. It's not the most enjoyable thing I've heard in dubstep, but it does push the track forward, to say the least. I think their chemistry is pretty good across this song. I think the call and response works, but it's just pretty uninteresting dubstep as a whole. There's no sound here that I gravitate to necessarily. On the flip side, there's no sound that turns me off, but it's just mid to me. Yeah, it's like this halfway heavy rhythm shit that just, I think, it doesn't know what it wants to be. Doesn't want to be heavy, doesn't want to be groovy. Yeah, that's that type of shit. We're at Mad Dubs' remix of Eidolon Hex. Better than Infect's remix when it comes to Trench. This one's square 4 though. I think the flow is fine, and I guess it sounds good, like in terms of quality for square 4, but it's square 4. I mean, I can't rank it that high. You feel me? Company's remix of Dream Sequence is actually good on paper. I personally am just not a fan. First drop tonality. Second drop still sounds like Jakui to me, like freeform-esque. Pretty cool, but a little too mainstream sounding, I guess, for my personal taste, but there's nothing objectively wrong about it necessarily. I do want to actually listen to it again. Company, where are we at? Like, that's fine. The stabs are cool, I guess, but then the yelpy melody there, just, yeah. And it sounds kind of empty too. It doesn't have that much impact because of that. YVM3's remix is next. I initially was pretty surprised and taken aback at the breakbeat switch, but on multiple listens, the novelty just wears off because it's a pretty generic breakbeat section. I do like the melody woven into it, and I do like the like kick boom impact things. But besides that, I think that's just there because YVM3's never delved into that territory, and he wanted this like shock factor, but it just wore off to me. Yeah, I like that. It's, yeah. And then the first drop, the mix sound is bad, even for YVM3 standards, and he's known for sludgy and overblown mix sounds, but he makes it sound good 99% of the time. But this first drop is his worst mix down song. The snare sounds pretty bad. It's way too harsh. People talk about Faizo's remix being harsh, but just forget to mention this one. It just hurts to listen to at points. I do like the rearing sound design and how brutal it is on paper, like the blueprint of the song, but because it's mixed down so poorly, I can't get into it as much as I would like to. Yeah, that's why it's in C. Ominous's remix of Maze of Punishment. The first drop is wonky. It's just classic Ominous. Great sub movement. Incredible clap snare there. But then the second drop is just him crashing out for no reason. It's just stupid. And not in a good way. The Behemoth fake out is taken and stretched over half of the drop for whatever reason, which makes it sound like he's blue balling motherfuckers. And then this goofy ass melody comes in after, which I just don't understand. The song, it completely falls apart. Like, what are we doing? Everything up to the second drop was pretty great though, so it's in C tier. Vampa's remix of Valley of Darkness is forgettable as hell. Tonal, heavy. Besides that, it's not badly done. I think in a live setting I could get into this, but it's just generic. Yeah. Trench tinge to it. But not bad. Not bad. There's some cool sounds in there. Pretty predictable, but there's something, at least. That's what I can say about the song. There's something that latches, that you can latch onto, but it's just not far from being anything mind-blowing and actually pretty generic. Resistance's remix of Shallow Land Burial is a competent square 4 song, but it's still a square 4 song, so I can't rank it very high. Um, yeah, it's one of the better Resistance tracks that have dropped. Um, they don't use the Star Wars shit as like a crutch to make their shit sound cooler than it is, I feel like, on this song. But it's still nothing compared to like something Modal Nodes would do or The Force from back in the day. I still feel like the Resistance is a cheap imitation of what The Force brought to the table back in the days. And I know that one of the producers came back. I don't care. The quality of the music still isn't as good. You feel me? I don't care about the politics behind the scenes. I just rate the music. You feel me? And the Resistance is far inferior to the Star Wars rhythm stuff that was coming out in the mid 2010s. But it's a fine remix. It's a fine remix. Samplifier's remix of Magic Armor. I mean, the songwriting is there, of course. It's Samplifier. He's great at it. But the first drop is just so generic. This heavy rhythm sound I can't listen to of his anymore at this point. The tonality, just everything doesn't work. And then, unfortunately, also the trap switch up, I think, is a little sloppy. Doesn't work the best. But I see what he was going for across the entire song. And I can appreciate the songwriting at least. And that's where I pulled some enjoyability from the remix. Chibs' remix is repetitive, yoy, yoy, yoy. Interesting layering, I guess. But outside of that, yeah, I guess it's to an extent his staple gluey sound design, which I can respect. It definitely sounds like Chibs, but he's still punching under his weight, I feel like. Like something like a 50 Shots or a Grunka, or hell, even a Karate is leagues above what he did on that song. I actually don't remember Paragon because I have a hard time remembering a lot of these OG SD songs. Oh yeah, that's the shrieky one. That's what that one is. Yeah. In concept, actually incredible. But it just ends up sounding goofy because I'm not sure what it is. I think it's partially the mix down. I think it's partially some of the sounds. It just ends up sounding like, I don't fucking know, like some screaming goats at some point. Even though I do understand that he was trying to go for like this horrifying experience, I think he missed the mark. Not all the way, but enough to make it sound silly instead of scary, if that makes sense. AFK's remix of Twilight Reflector. Oh, what do I say about this one? Nice, crunchy, snarly low end. But yeah, tonal, heavy dubstep. Very well produced. Besides that, not much to pick apart. I think the octave switch is a little lackluster. Just nothing special. Again, listenable, but nothing special. Nothing that makes me say like this is a super solid song that has something going for it. It's just music. Automate's remix, a laughing track. Nice and mechanical and clunky in the first drop. Cool alternation between sounds. But then the second drop lacks snare, and all the impact is lost because of that. I don't know what else to say about this one. Herbox's remix, A Comprehension Barrier, has its individual sounds are super good, and I enjoy them. But it's repetitive as hell, and the Comprehension Barrier melody, that gets pitched every which way just for sake of variation, and the song ends up feeling super lazy because of it. But cool sounds in and of themselves. I feel like this could have been built out into a better song if the execution and arrangement was on point and on par. Spaz's remix of Laughing Track is interesting because I do love the drums, and I think them using, especially in the second drop, the Laughing Track chop as a main bass and then building their sound design around it, super unique and super creative. besides that, it's still kind of repetitive, and it still falls into this like unfunny ha ha spaz trope that to me feels kind of outdated. Yeah. Besides that, it's kind of groovy, I guess, but once you get familiarized with what it has to offer, you get tired of it quickly. I'll say that much. Must I's remix of Maze of Punishment, I initially really enjoyed, but I'm starting to realize now that it sounds like a hard dance demo on Splice. I feel like Must I, he's super capable at making hard style and hard techno and other forms of hard dance music, but I feel like he waters it down to appeal to the dubstep audience, and it's super prevalent here. Screechy sustains are annoying, don't like them. Kicks are pretty good, actually, but besides that, this song really doesn't have much going for it. It's a standard rumble, yeah. And he didn't take his time building up the track either, like a Maze of Punishment remix is supposed to be. I feel like every other Maze of Punishment remix had a long ass intro. This one didn't. Yeah, it's pretty generic hard dance. That's why I put it at C. But it's well made. Blankface and Decimate's remix of Rings of Pluto has nice variation. Sometimes you hear some very annoying square 4 basses in there, especially in the fake out parts. But the drops themselves are comprised of capable flows and nice call and response. Actually, you can tell that more than one person worked on this song because it's messy, but in a good way, if that makes sense. And I just generally enjoy it a little because it's trench music, but varied enough to keep my attention. I think they try risks that pan out flow wise, and yeah. Top of C is going to be Phone On and Israel Strom's remix of Twilight Reflector, which boils down to more or less personal taste because I couldn't tell you anything wrong with the song objectively. Yeah, it's just a modal mixture thing. I've just never, people that have watched me for a while know I'm not a fan of it. I think Phone On pulls it off super well, especially compared to other dubstep producers. And the Israel Strom dude, I believe, is a jazz-tronic artist or something. I saw him in a couple of playlists, so he definitely knows what he's doing, and you can tell on this track. It kind of has a vibe to it, but just at the end of the day, personal taste kind of limits me from loving this song. Yeah, some of the keys they switch into sound a little goofy. All right, that was C tier. We shall get into B tier now. Which, by the way, I guess I can explain what all the tiers mean for me, basically. The D is just a mediocre song. It's not trash 1,000,000%, which I'm glad none of the songs were, but it's not good. It's like a 4 out of 10 song. C is mid. This is high mid, low mid. These are actually like low decent songs in my opinion. Yeah, it ranges from like 5 to 6 out of 10, I'd say. Yeah. So the ones that's under, the ones towards the lower end would probably be under a 5 out of 10 slightly, and the ones in the top end would probably be pushing a 6, if that makes sense. B tier is a solid song. B tier is like a 7 out of 10. It's just very solid, very enjoyable. You feel me? Nothing crazy or anything, but good. A is great. It's like an 8 out of 10. Pushing the 9. Super memorable. Love the track. And S tier is peak. It's like 9 to a 10 out of 10. Just like incredible. Stellar. And that's usually how I'd categorize like S to D tier when it comes to any sort of tier list, whether that's movies or anything else. But anyways, Nexus's remix of Thirst for Revenge has, with a Hades remix, which I think is also coming up soon, one of the best intros of all 3 comps. Super just contorted and demented. I love it. I love it. I love it to death. Drop hits. Drop isn't good. initially. The flow is just, the impact is instantly lost, despite how blown out Nexus's square 4 sound is. And then he goes back into the crazy flow, which is good. Yeah, as for the rest of the song, the outro's good. There's like a faint trap beat in the background. I guess I could pull it up. Yeah, second drop is whatever. Better than the first one initially was. But yeah, kind of disappointing. The intro was promising, but the outro is great too. Nice and atmospheric and dark. Brooding. Besides that, not much else to say. Nexus has his sound, definitely forged a sound, but this isn't touching something like a Joel VIP or a Simple Meltdown or some shit. Yeah. Victim's remix of Shallow Land Burial was better than I expected. Cool croaky sound design. Bouncy. My main problem with it is that it has the fills are too long. There we go. Almost had a brain fart there. The fills are too fucking long. And he just tries to do too much in between the main sound design doing its thing, and it takes you out of the groove. Which, by the way, if I didn't mention, Low B isn't necessarily a solid song. It's a decent song. So yeah, B would probably be like 6 to 7 out of 10. But yeah, Digitus remix is good. It's a little lackadaisical. I want to like it more than I do, but the sound design is interesting. It's glossed over. Kind of has this girth and depth to it, like Digitus sound design usually does. But it does kind of drag on. Let's pull it up. Yeah, and there's some really cool stabs in there sometimes that just hit you out of the blue that I fuck with. Yeah, just the movement and contortion of the sound design in and of itself is super cool. But as a song experience, the tune really wasn't getting to me. It was more of like a sound design experiment. But still nice to listen to. Dog Jaw could have been one of the best songs, but I think it was another execution thing, just like Paragon, that left it kind of lacking. Yeah, this part is super sick. The thumpy, boomy kicks. The demonic sounding ARP. Yeah, this is my issue. The little chattering there is sick. I love when Svdden Death goes super experimental with the sound design, but the kick is way too overblown for whatever reason. It's just another balancing and leveling thing here. That's the issue. I think the sounds sit too weirdly in the mix because of volume and sometimes just their placement. Yeah, it doesn't work the best. Execution wise, on paper, it's a genius idea in my opinion. But yeah, where are we at? Blood Cave. Blood Cave is interesting. It's a OG ID. It's fucking over 5 years old. It came out. It wasn't even made this decade, I believe. But second drop is just not good. It's can I say not good? Because the sound design is still good, but the flow is not good. It's just spammed. That's all. It's just variation for the sake of variation. I'd prefer Blood Cave to be attached to maybe one of the preludes, so the drop could stand on its own. But yeah, the song kind of gets ruined by its second drop, and it's a very great first drop. Very great. One of the most iconic Svdden Death IDs. But just a badly paced second drop and a forced variation. He could have just put in the same drop and the song would have been much better for it, but it suffers because of that drop. Bad Trip, similar thing, but the OG Bad Trip drop isn't as good as the OG Blood Cave drop, and the second drop of Bad Trip isn't as bad as Blood Cave second drop. The vibrato's just weird. Also feels a little forced. I think if he just would have shifted some notes around, it would have been better. But also a very unique one from him. Unsettling as hell, dissonant as shit. Yeah, definitely sounds like a Bad Trip. SYFM by Svdden Death and Pike. Yeah, it's a little tedious, but the sound design is nice and deep. That's more or less what I have to say. I think that specific sound design works great in quarter notes and more or less carried the song without doing too much in terms of variation. Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. Skin Reflector, I do not remember off the top of my head. I think it's the din 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 din. Yep. Great melody here. Nice impact. Nice noisy sub. Cool hybrid trap type thing. I think this final drop is cool, but still feels a little too empty, if that makes sense. I think that was my main issue with this. I would have liked more substance to it as a whole. It feels like the song is 80% charged. There's just something I feel like is missing with it. But besides that, I liked everything that was going on. Epilogue 1 is the one with the... Yeah, it's that one. I know which one it is. Beautiful melody, beautiful haunting melody. Great as an outro. My main issue with this is the lead sounds kind of artificial. Some simple fix would have been RC20. I just need a little bit of wobble on that sound because I do starkly prefer analog sounds to something that sounds like stiff and lifeless almost. That's my main issue with it. That's about it. Other than that, I love what it does melodically. Time Bind. Yeah, this one's funny. This one is also pretty experimental. It's nice and jumpy in the first drop, and then nice and you feel me, in the second drop. It doesn't have a thread running through it that makes you want to go back to the song. When it gets put on, you're gonna hear something entertaining because of the sound design being so wacky, but I don't think it's crazy cohesive or anything. That's why it's only in B. So yeah, for sure enjoyable, for sure engaging, but not the greatest thing as a song, a full track, right? Soren Sweet Tooth's remix of Rings of Pluto is actually not bad. Yeah. What should I say about this one, my nigga? The song it's a good remix. Nothing mind-blowing or anything, but it's enjoyable. Yeah, I like the sustained sound. The slight tonality works. Generic tonality, don't get me wrong. But this whole song has this aura to it that feels kind of nostalgic to me. It's not necessarily trench aura or anything like that. I guess it is, but it feels very underground, niche-ish from the late 2010s, if that makes sense. This song has that. It feels like it comes from an underground culture. In terms of it doesn't even do much crazily, you feel me? But everything just works. Not crazy predictable, not crazy unpredictable, just the songs. And the dubsteps. And yeah, it just sounds niche. the song as a whole, which I can respect. Yeah, that's that. Twilight Reflector Svdden Death remix. My main issue with this was lack of melody. That's about it. Stone Level's part was solid, nice and stabby. Muerte's part was good. I just wanted more melody as a whole, because Muerte really shines when melody is introduced into his music. I think this one lacked that, but besides that, it's good. About just as good as most of the songs on their collab LP, which I found to be pretty decent too. Space Wizard's remix of Demonic Curse is nice and croaky and deep. ATLN's inspired. Obviously not as good as peak ATLN's or anything like Montauk Project level sound design or anything, but it's still good. It's still good. Still good. Slightly freeform-esque shit. Deep, gurgly. Just nice on the ears. D-Line's remix of Kerbrot. Great mixdown. It's just a good standard for where tear out should be. If that makes sense. Nice slowdown too. The gun timbres themselves just sound too generic for D-Line's standards, if that makes sense. Like, it's a very... It's a generic song in his discog. Like, it doesn't do much differently than any of his songs do. It's a very... The only thing that makes the song unique is the mixdown. But other than that, it's very freaking solid. It's punchy, it's heavy, you know? But it doesn't have a factor to it that sets it apart from any other D-Line song. It's just very average for him. Muerte's remix of Laugh and Track, also pretty average for him. I really love the ending bits of that melody though. Like, dun, dun, it's super anthemic, bro. Yeah, what you see is what you get with this one. Super sick. My throat hurts, bro, from talking so much. Yeah. Like I said, what you see is what you get. Solid. Not the best melody Muerte's put to the table, and not the best sound designs put to the table. Also fairly standard for him, but just good as a whole. No complaints really. Yeah. Very solid heavy rhythm track. Callous with Pike is very solid as well. Love the deep gurgly sound design here. But it's just kind of long. That's about it. I think, like SYFM, sound design works super well in the quarter note format. And yeah, just super groovy because of it. I think the sound design is unique enough to keep the momentum of the song going. Hades' remix of Act 3 is... The intro is probably the most beautiful thing on all three comps. I'd even take it over Great Milk. I'm going to keep it real. Just slightly, though. Her singing, just everything works so beautifully together. The drop is okay. I think the main bass gets stale after some time. But besides that, the main thing that's carrying the song are the non-drops. I think the non-drops are stellar. That's about it. Feed Me's remix of Magic Armor is also good. Great tribal trap drop coming in. And kind of a 4 on the floor second drop that slows things down. It's kind of underwhelming. But besides that, top tier production. I'm glad to see Feed Me on this comp, even though I've never really been into his music like that. It's just a fresh detour from everything else. Prelude 3, Devastating. Just that one. Sounds like Comprehension burying the first drop. Same kind of sound design. I just wish this one to be longer. It's one great drop. That's about it. With the ominous intro. Not really much else to say. Just those icy cold synths are super sick to me. This could have been great as maybe a comprehension barrier VIP, something like that. I don't know, but I like it. Murder's remix of Dream Sequence is pretty solid. Classic Murder brought to the table in the first drop. I am forced to love it because I'm such a mid 2010s Murder glazer. Besides that, the second drop sees him going into the modern tear out, slow down, overblown shit. And he pulls it off fairly well because there's remnants of his old sound design peppered into the mix, which, again, I'm forced to enjoy because I love his OG sound so much. Yeah. He kind of takes it back in that first drop and keeps it modern in the second drop, hops on a trend that ends up working in his favor. Prosecute's remix of Comprehension Barrier is laughably distorted to the point where there's just like a line of distortion running through both drops of just saturation, just like a but it's pretty punchy. Yeah, standard new rhythm venture for him. Don't have much to say. Slowdown is good. That's about it. Kanodo's remix of Twilight Reflector has a gorgeous reversed intro. First drop is solid, second drop is solid. It ends kind of unceremoniously, I'd say. I think it gets the job done, but it could have been fleshed out, especially the second drop a little more. But the second drop is nice and stabby. Melody's more or less taken out. First drop is nice and tonal. Yeah. And percussion is pretty good too. Just very solid. Everything works well together. Stag's remix of Laughing Track is brutal as hell and almost comical because there's hella reverb to it. And still can't believe when the Bone Breaker part of Laughing Track comes in. He has the doom doom. And then he slows the second drop, which is just... That's how you should execute funniness and heaviness. Like so, on his remix. I just had a great time with it. It's brutal as hell. Yeah, blasted out my headphones damn near. That's the B tier, homie. Let's get into the A tier, though. Kanodo's remix of Act 3 is the superior remix he dropped on these comps, on the final comp. Both of them were, yep. Part 3. Very... How do I describe that melody? Pinprick. Mellow. And just on this pillow of reverb. Just very soothing, very beautiful. Yeah. Nice and melancholic too. There's not much to say about it too. It's just a great melody all throughout. And I loved it. That's why it's an A tier. Complete and fundamental total betrayal. I ended up putting this in A, yes, because of that Joy first drop with the crazy fucking melody. I think that Colin response is just so nuts, bro. The midsection is a little long, and the final drop feels like it's missing something, but the sub pitching is great, and just the unsettling nature of the synths, I feel like. And like I said, the first drop is one of the wackiest things he's done all decade. Yeah, that's peak Voyd in my opinion, when he can balance that quirky goofiness with darkness, and he does that perfectly in that first drop. Code's remix of Thirst for Revenge, also very solid. Standard drop for him. In the first drop, perfectly mixed down, of course. Basses have hella crunch and distortion to them. That's one thing that really stood out to me. But besides that, just regular machine guns from him choir. Second drop is like Last Right's second drop, where it's like this hybrid trap thing with these super deep, crunchy basses and these super high resonant pan snares. Yeah, and these crazy sweep-ins that add to the impact and punch of that drop. I really love that drop. So a very solid drop plus an incredible drop equals a A-tier remix in my eyes. Dark Matters, this is Arcthane, right? Yeah, the twangy sound design is just so unique, honestly. Second drop isn't nearly as insane as the first one is, but it finishes off the track nicely. Yeah, it's just crazy. And the way they pop in and out of frame, that sound design is just nuts to me. I don't know. Magic Armor, Integrate Victor and Black Carl's remix. Very unique one. Very well produced one. More somber one. More mellow one. Where are we at? Why is it not showing up? It's sad that this is the most overlooked one, apparently, according to Spotify. Yeah, it's like people from the more abstract corners of the bass music scene, and they really delivered with this nice tonal and kind of melodic cut there. Very nice, incredible reverb control, actually, and nice arrangement too. Deviate's remix of Valley of Darkness. First drop is pretty insane. Not Fever Dream level or anything, but still like a couple cuts above most regular dubstep. Second drop was super well produced. I think it was a little less interesting. Valley of Darkness. And the double kick is just crazy. Yeah. Very nice reimagination of the deep space horror part of Valley of Darkness, that drop. Loads of ear candy there. Loads of stimulation. It's a Deviate song at the end of the day. And yeah, nice gnarly sounds to just sink your teeth into. Dexamp's remix of Thirst for Revenge is like a Frankenstein monster of fucking sounds like 2012 2013 dubstep at points. Then it sounds like 2020 2021 new rhythm, and also that granular modern dubstep sound is also woven into this song, and the final drop is just so eclectic and pulls from so many eras of dubstep, and I just really enjoy it because of that. He made it work super fucking well. Yeah, that's more or less what I have to say about that one. Tape B's remix of Magic Armor is a classic dubstep one and sounds like it authentically. Great melodic passages. Yeah, the nostalgia factor is just really what gets me with it, honestly. Really sounds like a 2012 type dubstep song. Authentic as hell. Doesn't sound like one of these motherfuckers trying to cheaply imitate something to nostalgia bait people into enjoying a song, but it sounds like this comes from a place of appreciating what made that OG sound so special and recreating it, with the exception of the production just being better because it's almost 1.5 decades later. Yeah, great remix. Creator, best Svdden Death remix. And some of the goofiest. That bubbly fucking drop is just hilarious, dog. And it goes dummy. It goes dummy. And the drops after are cool too. Yeah. The fuck is Renthine? It's a low key one. The in the background really makes it for me. Yeah, the added melody too is super sick. Now it's coming back to me. Yeah, the droplet sound design too, super sick. Just I love to see SD going in a deeper direction with his music. Nimda's remix of Karabrat. SUK fucking T, bro. What else is there to say? Sub bass is laughably saturated, especially in that final drop. The start stop delivery was just so brutal, bro. And the gun timbres too, how off the wall they were. It's just peak tear out, dog. And Nimda is, there's a case to be made that he's the GOAT tear out producer, for real. Neonix's remix of Comprehension Barrier is slightly better though, because of, it reminds me why I fuck with Neonix so much as a producer. Tonal, slightly melodic drop, croaky sound design, and sub bass doing, I don't know what the hell it was doing, but sub bass was doing backflips. Yeah. It's a carefully executed one. It's a pretty deep cutting one, especially because of the sub bass, and it has this goofy tinge to it that's just so fucking fun. And it's a amazing remix. Forgotten Name. I think I know which one this is. This is the melodic one with the quarter notes, right? Yeah, bro. That melody, translating it over into the drop that way. Yeah, and just the weight behind the quarter note delivery too. This track is pretty damn energetic. Super creative. This time the execution works super well too. Glad to hear it. And besides that, yeah, the way that melody gets used less and less towards the back end of the song is just super sick too. It's like sometimes it comes back as this like motif to just let you know like, hey, I'm still here, but then the rest of the song is just super great new rhythm. Yep. Spectral Shift is that little interlude thing, which to be honest, I'm gonna move Spectral Shift down. I'm gonna move it all the way to there, because Spectral Shift is pretty brief, but I think it's pretty gorgeous. And this is the one that's improvised, right? I think Svdden Death tweeted about it, that this song was completely made like in the moment. I would have loved to see a more full version of this, because the ARP sound great, spacey, has this ominous feeling to it. Yeah, I just love it as a whole. I think it's a really cool sound design experiment, and as a song I feel like it works too, despite being fairly brief. Alright, man. S tier. Oof, it's a mouthful. I've been talking for a fucking hour, homie. Basics remix of Karabrat. Just super sick neuro dubstep. Four on the Floor part works super well too. Just the amount of detail Basic puts into his music is to be marveled at in and of itself. Yeah. It's like he never reuses a single sound. It's what it sounds like, at least. Besides the percussion, of course. Yeah, just insane, just crazy as a whole. Expected nothing less from him. Van Fleet's remix of Eidolon Hex is creepy as hell. The sub bass is incredible. It sounds like you're in a fucking haunted forest or something. Some of the sounds that she put into that mix are nuts, bro. Yeah, it just it sounds like the witch is coming for me in fucking Blair Witch Project, bro. Yeah, just a horrifying listen almost, and really took me aback. Incredibly unique. Fugue State, beautiful as a whole, super melancholic, gorgeous pads. The only slight drawback I'd have with this song, why it's not higher, is the snare is sometimes overdone. Sometimes the snare is left out. Sometimes he puts in a clap. Sometimes it's in like the background with this huge wash of texture. I feel like he kind of did too much there, but besides that, I mean, I still appreciate it. It's variation, and I guess keeps me engaged. It's a gorgeous song, and he should do more down-tempo stuff. Great Milk's remix of Carol the fan favorite, I feel like, especially in the underground. Just a gorgeous listen, dog. The shy percussion, lack of sidechain, I believe. Yeah, and just those lead basses, bro. The way they morph melodically all throughout the song is just beautiful. And at some points, there's an offset vocal chop that comes in that sounds super great too, like for syncopation purposes. It's just still so funny to me how he made such a beautiful song out of a badly made tear out song. But the only thing that his remix and the OG Carebrot have in common is that they share the same vocal pre-drop. The dead will walk the earth, and then the flow, I guess, that little pentuplet, whatever the fuck it is. But Great Milk really did his thing on this fucking song. Executioner's remix of Maze of Punishment. Now my Executioner bias is really showing because it's a pretty repetitive song. There's one bass that's being used, being pitched sometimes being stretched, sometimes flow switches here and there, but it's more or less it's just heavy rhythm specialty from bro. Yeah, it's fucking Executioner. What else can I say? Dude has revolutionized heavy and dark rhythm. Human Consumer. The regular Human Consumer on streaming platforms without that incredible second drop would probably land at high B, but the second drop really changes everything. First drop is goofy and deep. I still like it. I like the little white noise shots that come in too during the B section. Yeah, that second drop is some of the most insane stuff I've heard from Svdden Death, period, in my 10 years of listening to him. Just contorted and gruesome. Fuck, bro. Damn. Like, I really wish that would have went on for another drop. Holy shit. That's a must listen for sure. If you haven't listened to the song, do so, bro. Shit blew me away. And it's really sad that that version didn't land on DSPs. Ulasal's remix of Act 3 is it's industrial botanica, like I said in the reaction. It sounds like botanica, but more industrial and in a Brazilian funk pattern. Like, this shit made me so happy, and it's so pretty. Yeah, the Jersey Club shit at the end was pretty cute too, and yeah, some Igloo Ghost inspiration, I guess. Even though I don't bump Igloo Ghost like that, I think Sven said it, and I can definitely hear it based off the handful of Igloo Ghost songs I do know. Yeah, it's just a great creative remix. And like I said in the review, it feels like a leftover. It feels like it could be, I know it's a remix, so it's definitely not that, but it feels like it could be a leftover off Be Curious that's somehow better than most of that LP. You feel what I mean? He just letting his creativity shine. Fuck a genre. He just... You feel me? Prelude 1, the track that started it all. is in my top 3, funnily enough. I think it's a case of the intro being so good. Wait, I need a refresher, dog. I'm sorry. Let me make sure it deserves to be top 3, though. Oh, yeah. The I Hate Everything shit. I'm kind of sad that the OG I Hate Everything didn't come in. Or wait, was that just a intro thing for his sets? I'm not sure. But yeah, that first drop, bro, the arrangement is crazy. And initially, I had the issue of some sound design being louder or quieter than others, but now I just fuck with the dynamics of it. And then this squelchy fucking drop here. Just with some dissonant chords blaring out over it. You just gotta love it. Just straight quarter notes. Yeah, bro. That's that. Is there another drop out there? Yeah, just beautiful melodic passages. Again, more exposition. Yeah. Second place is Engineer. I love Engineer so much, bro. The executioner influence, the industrial clanky first drop, the simplistic approach, and then just, of course, the drums as well, bro. Those dusty drums, and then just the evilness comes in the second drop, and just the demons come up from shit is so dark, bro. And the spazzing out that the drums do, the depth, the gruesomeness, everything about this song. It's dripping in aura. Last but not least, of course, is going to be Faizo's remix. It's still the best song. I'm going to keep it real off all the comps. Future dubstep first drop, heavy as fuck, though, with this banging snare. Crazy syncopated, insane sustained bass. Well, 2 sustained basses, actually. The second one in the B section and the first one that opens up the fake out. And then the second drop, something entirely different. Just like on the OG Maze of Punishment, but so gnarly and crunchy, bro. Like, it's probably my favorite Faizo song too. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm blown away every time I listen to both of these drops. And of course, people have the issue of, yeah, it's kind of shrill and this and that, but I don't hear it personally. There's obviously more high end to this song than basically every other song on here, but it's still in a tolerable range, to me at least. And these are, I believe, studio grade headphones. But yeah, bro, that rounds up this list. Thank you all for watching. This fucking video is an hour and 8 minutes long. It's actually just as long as my OG vid was, and I was just yapping all throughout it. I barely pulled up any examples, but this is my list. Let me not make the same mistake. Make my face cam quiet as small as possible. That's me. Yep. I'll leave this tier list in the description, of course. Let me know y'all thoughts, and you can also share y'all tier list. But yeah, I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Take care and peace.